looking at a couple of months to finish the processing. We're really happy with the initial results. We're getting the right sort of depth penetration and resolution, and lots of reflectivity in the belt, in the stratigraphy.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Cobra CEO Adam Wooldridge. Adam, very good to speak with you again. You've completed seismic survey work on the Catlania West copper project in the Kalahari Copper Belt. Take us through what that's entailed.
Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, and thanks for having me again. I think the key is to really look at seismics as becoming a method for finding new tier one deposits in the Kalahari Copper Belt. And it really falls into addressing one of the aspects of our exploration strategy in the Kalahari Copper Belt, and that is to try and find new tier one deposits. At the same time, we still have a lot of our attention going into progressing our in situ copper development story on the neighboring property, and we also have active target drilling on your more traditional limb-based targets in the Kalahari Copper Belt. So where the seismics fits in, and this has really been born out of the Explore program. Cobra has been a member of the 2024 BHP Explore program. So a lot of the ideas of employing seismics and trying to find the sort of a hidden tier one deposit in the belt have come out of this program. And the idea is to use seismics to try and identify the kind of trap site where you would see the much larger deposits occur. And I think it's worth sort of just taking a step back and thinking about the belt in general. If you look at most of the deposits in the belt, they occur on these anticline limbs, and they also occur in areas where the cover is relatively thin. Now, these limb-based targets are much easier to find. They have a geochemical expression at surface. They're a lot easier to find in the geophysics. And they also tend to have been found in areas where the cover is thinner. So if you look at the belt, we're basically finding what's easiest to find. Now, if you were looking for bigger scale, larger deposits, you would traditionally focus your attention on the base and margins. And in particular, where we saw value was looking for the kind of trap sites where rather than having the limbs, you actually have the hinge zone of these anticlines preserved, because this is where you're going to see your mineralization really upgraded. And you could see a much larger deposit forming, and a deposit with a much better geometry for mining, if you like, as well. And this really, the trick to finding these sort of deposits is being able to model and map these fault structures. And I suppose one comment as well is, this doesn't occur throughout the belt. In most of the Kalahari Copper Belt, you've actually roofed off the top of the anticline. So you need specific areas where you still have those roof zones preserved. And Catlania West is a perfect candidate for that. So the idea then is to take seismic data and try and model these fold zones and identify trap sites within the folds where these are near surface and where they have the appropriate feeder structures, and they're located in the right setting on the base and margins. And it really changes the way you would start targeting this kind of trap site completely. If you look at potential field data, which is how most of the work's been done traditionally, you can model the macroscopic. You can see where the structures are. You can see where these fold structures are, but you don't have the three-dimensional context. And seismics brings that resolution into it. It allows you to actually model where your target contact's going. It allows you to model the feeder structures, and it allows you to actually look at your targets in a basin context. So we see this as adding an enormous value to how you try and look for this rather elusive potential tier one in the belt. Yeah.
So, Adam, when would you expect the results from these seismic surveys, and then how will you take those forward?
Sure. So we're looking at a couple of months to finish the processing. We're really happy with the initial results. We're getting the right sort of depth penetration and resolution, and lots of reflectivity in the belt, in the stratigraphy. So we're pretty confident we're going to get a good solution from the technology. And then, this gives us a tool that we can apply across our targets. And I think probably one of the important things is, if you don't drill with the seismics as your backing, you're almost drilling blind and hoping for luck. which is what so much of the exploration has been doing in the past when people have started trying to target, these bigger scale trap sites. What we have with seismics is you have a very intentional target that you're drilling. You're drilling a specific trap site, you're drilling specific feeders to the trap site, and you have an answer that you're testing for. So it allows for a much more focused follow-up program that's got a lot of science behind it and a lot of support behind it.
Well, Adam, I hope you'll keep us posted on any progress with that and those results when they are released. Thank you very much for updating us today.
Fantastic. Thank you.
That's Cobra CEO Adam Wooldridge.